Hello and welcome to this OpenTX quick tip. Now this is for a gentleman called Stuart. Now normally I only get involved with these kind of OpenTX questions from Patreons these days. If you are interested in how to program OpenTX on your Taranis X9D, X-Lite, X10 or whatever radio it is that you have, go and check out my OpenTX mix school that starts very simply and builds up with loads and loads of examples. The cool thing about OpenTX is so far, he says, touching wood, I haven't been asked to do anything that I haven't been able to get OpenTX to do. Now, this particular one for Stuart I thought was quite a cute little idea and warranted a quick video. So Stuart, this one's for you. Hopefully it answers your question. Now, Stuart's question was what he wants to do is flick one switch 3 times and for the switch each time to actually play a different sound. What he's trying to do is actually control some lights. So the first time it turns on one set of lights, the second time he flicks the switch it turns on another set of lights, and the third time he flicks the switch it turns them all off. And at each point it's going to play a sound. Now there's a couple of ways to tackle this. You could use logical switches, but I found that this is the way that I've done it and it's relatively straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, let me just show you how it works. Let me simulate the radio. Move everything onto the screen. So here we are, we've got it set. Now the way I've got it working here is that SH, the momentary switch, as I pull it, is going to do 3 different things. It's going to play 3 different sounds. So here we go. So there's the 3 different beeps. Now that could be set up to activate a switch. It could be activating the value of a channel. It could be doing anything. And the way I've done it is I've actually played with something called global variables. So here, in the inputs, we've got nothing particularly fancy. We've got nothing particularly in the mixes, although we'll come back to those in a second because we can use those to check the lights. But what we've done in special functions and logical switches is where it's all set up. Now this looks pretty complicated, but don't worry, I'll go through it nice and slowly. So what is happening is every time SH, which is that momentary switch, is in the down position, global variable 1 is adjusted in increments of 10. So let me just show you that. So if you keep your eye on global variable 1, it goes 10, 20, and then back briefly to 30. Hopefully you saw that, and back to 0. So 10, 20, and you'll see it briefly go to 30 and then straight back to 0. Okay, so that's all that we're doing, and the way we're doing that is every time we flick switch SH in the down position, it increments global variable by 10, and we can see what the value of the global variable is to figure how many times the switch has been flicked. And then when L03 comes in, which we'll look at in a minute, these are all the logical switches we've set up, we've got things happening. So for the moment, just concern yourself with line 1. Every time we flick SH, we increment by 10 global variable 1. In logical switches, what we say is logical switch 1 comes on when global variable 1 equals 10, which is the first time we flick the switch. Guess what? Logical switch 2 is going to come on when the global variable 1 is 20. And surprise, surprise, logical switch 3 will come on when global variable 1 is 30. Now it only is at 30 for a very short period of time, because as soon as it gets to 30 then something else happens. Because what we're saying is when logical switch 3 is activated, and logical switch 3 again is when the value equals 30, then adjust global variable 1 back down to 0. Basically just keep going round and round in circles, and that's how I can keep your eye on global variable 1 and the logical switches every time. So there's logical switch 1, there's logical switch 2, and logical switch 3 comes on briefly before going off because the global variable is set back to 0 and we're back at the start again. Okay, because we have 3 logical switches that are being turned on by the flick of SH each time, we can assign them to do work in the radio. And at this point we've got logical switch 1 plays beep 1, logical switch 2 plays beep 2, and logical switch 3 plays beep 3. So those are the 3 different beeps that you hear when I flick SH. So that's what's happening. But those logical switches are just can be treated like physical switches in the radio, and you can do everything with them. So for example, in the outputs, or even in the mixes, let's say the headlight, make the value max. Where's that? Press M. There it is. We'll make the switch for this one be L01. Okay, so that should come on when logical switch 1 is on. We're going to do the same for these side lights. So when logical switch 2 is on, this will come on. Set the value to max because we're not bothered about what the value is. It's just all being controlled by the switches. Now, if we simulate it, what we should see, which channels were they? Channels 5 and 6. So channels 5 and 6 are there. What we're going to do is SH. So there's channel 5 going high. There's channel 6 going high. And there are the both off. Now, we could, of course, change the way that works. So, for example, if we wanted the headlights and the side lights to be on at the same time, we could just duplicate that line and have that one also being turned on by L2. So let's just simulate that. So first one gives us headlights. Next time we do it, we get both. Third time we do it, they both turn off. So hopefully that helps explain how to do it. So it's quite an interesting way to tackle this, to have one control, which is going to be the SH switch. Every time you pull it, it does something slightly different. And what we're doing is we're using the power of global variables to actually keep track of how many times the switch has been pulled, and to use that to not only control the outputs of particular channels, just like you would with a normal everyday switch on the radio, but we're also using it to actually play different sounds for those 3 events too. If you found that video useful or like the content, then please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you want to go the extra step, you can become a Patreon of the Painless 360 channel and help provide support for what I do here. All the videos created here are put into playlists, so if you're interested in a particular topic, have a look at the playlist, and they all are organised in there to make them easier to use. If you're not sure if there's a video for your particular problem or topic you want to know more about, then add Painless 360 to the Google search term that you're interested in, and that should find the video, article or content about the particular thing that you're interested in having a look at.